Hi guys, I'm Zach with AAD Performance. Today we're going to talk to you about adjusting our rear upper control arms and our toe links for our LX/LC platform, so any Charger, Challenger, Chrysler 300, Magnum. This will go kind of across the board for all of our platforms as well. They'll just be a little bit different. The arms are a little bit different design, whether you have a S550 Mustang, a Gen 5, Gen 6 Camaro. But all of those parts right now take all of the same tabs. So generally it's gonna go across the board. First, we'll start off with explaining these tabs here. So our tabs have these little notches on them. Okay, so we'll start off with this one. This one is our 3 tab. As you can see here, it has 6 little notches in the top edge of the tab. Okay, now the notches will either be in the horizontal edge or the vertical edge down here. These indicate what millimeter of movement off of 0 that the hole is moved within the tab. So again, this is our 3, it has 6 notches in it, okay? Now 1 through 4 all have these small notches in them. You have to think as a 3 tab will have 6 notches, a 4 tab will have 8, a 2 tab will have 4 notches, and a 1 tab will have 2. This is consistent for all of our bigger movement parts as far as our front upper control arms and rear upper control arms. The toe links are a little bit different. We'll get into that a little bit later. Here are 5 and up tabs. So this is going to be a 5, 6, 7, 8, and then a 9 tab. As you can see, we will compare these notches side by side here, and you can see that these are a lot smaller than these. So anything 5 and up are going to be big notches. So we will go back. A 5 tab is going to have 1 big notch. Okay. This is a 6 tab, 2 big notches, and so on and so forth. All the way up to 8. 8 will have 4. For our 9 tab, it's a little bit different. This has 1 big long notch down it. And again, the notches can either be on the horizontal or the vertical side of the tab, depending on what you want to do. If the notch is on the horizontal side of the tab here, we're going to be adding. Okay, so it's going to be making the arm longer. If it was on the shorter side of the tab or the vertical side, it's going to be making the hole placement further back, which is going to make the arm shorter. It'll make a little bit sense here as we get into, as I show you the actual adjustments in the arm. We can lay some tabs over each other and you'll be able to see a little bit of difference between them. So, as I said, here's our LX/LC. It's our display cradle we take around in a lot of shows. We just wanted to show you a simple way. Obviously, we get a lot of questions on how to adjust these. So all you need is a 17mm socket, even in a regular box wrench or a ratcheting box wrench, whatever works. If you have our newly updated arms, which were updated last year, which was 2019, about the summer of 19, we changed now to our single tab design, okay? We used to have 2 tabs on the arm. Now we just have the 1. This one is just a slotted hole. And so now in order to change the tab, all we're going to do is we're going to use our 8mm Allen, okay? And we're going to use our 17mm wrench. We are going to undo this one, and we're going to pull those completely out. Now this one here, okay, just the slotted hole that does not hold the tab, we're just going to crack this one loose a little bit, okay? Just enough, just like that. Now, as you can see, as I started loosening this, the arm kind of separated up here. You can see where if I were to tighten it back together, it would pinch back together. But you know that it's loose enough when the arm kind of separates. Now, we're going to come over here to our upper trailing arm. Now, it does not require you, when making small changes, I would say between, if you're making a 1mm to 2mm change, you do not need to change the tab in the upper trailing arm. Okay, so if you are going from the original tabs that we send you in the arms, which is our +2 tab, again has 4 notches in it, 4 small notches. If you were changing that and just going to like a 3 tab or a 4 tab, we would not require you to change the length of this. If you're making drastic camber changes in the actual camber arm, we recommend also changing this tab to match this. Now, if you up it to a 6 and then you up this to an 8, you're still within that range. You should be okay. So now we're gonna go ahead and loosen that one up, right? So now all these bolts are loose to allow the arms to slide. Now, sometimes because they are tight tolerance, so we can make sure that we can actually adjust the camber repeatedly. These are tight, so sometimes just taking a little Allen wrench or a little screwdriver, or whatever the case may be, just put it in there and pop it in. Okay. I'm just gonna show you, because these tabs are on the vertical edge. Okay, so as you can see here, we have 4 small notches. Okay, so this is gonna be our negative tab. This is gonna be if you're a road race guy, an autocross guy, things like that. These are the tabs that you're gonna wanna run on the track because it's gonna make your arm shorter, okay? While we make that arm shorter, it obviously creates more negative camber. When we're running the other style tabs, it's making it longer. It's correcting the negative camber and giving you more positive camber. So we're just gonna remove those tabs, right? And as you can see, it's obviously easier when it's on the car. You have the weight of the car being able to hold it, but you can just pull on these arms, sometimes taking like a little screwdriver like this and just pushing on it, or coming up here and just pushing on it. As you can see, we're moving that arm. Now, what you would do is you would move it until it lined up to where you wanted it. Let's see if we can guess a good tab there for a good hole placement. We'll go a little shorter. We'll go to like a 3 tab. So now we just moved it, right? So now you can see the bolt is almost lined up here. Okay. So now we're just gonna take this and we're just gonna pry it back, and then the bolt comes through. Okay, you would do that for the same on the other arm as well. Then we would replace the nut that we took off. And again, grab our 8mm Allen and our 17mm, whether it's a socket or a wrench. And we're gonna tighten that back down. Okay, you wanna make sure they're tight, but you don't wanna over tighten them. Usually we call for about 30 foot-pounds for these to be tightened down to, especially with our newer style hardware. So now we're gonna tighten that back down. Now you can see there's no gap between the end and the arm any longer. So now this has changed. You would repeat the same thing on this arm and you would get your reading. The key point especially for camber adjustments, guys, we get asked this a lot. And when you're purchasing our arms and then you're looking for the exact tab to use in the car based off of lowering or drag racing or whatnot, we can get you pretty close just based off of, we've done so many of these cars. It does take you going to an alignment rack after the installation of your arms and getting at least a printout so we know where you're at and what tabs are in it. So if you call us and say, hey, I'm at negative 1.2 degrees camber, I wanna be here, I left the tabs in it that you guys sent them to me with. It makes it a lot easier for us to be like, okay, if you wanna be at a half, well then we're gonna jump you up, 3mm, okay? And that's gonna put you at about a half a degree of negative camber. But we have to have some sort of reading with our arms, a baseline number with our arms installed in the car in order to help you guys. It also helps the alignment techs. I've talked to a lot of alignment guys on the phone, and sometimes they get a little bit aggravated because they're, going back and forth between tabs and doing all this stuff. And once we get a phone call, they tell us the number, we say, hey, this is what it is, boom, they're done. Which kind of prompted us to make this video for you guys, as far as the customers as far as the installers and the alignment guys. You know, if your alignment guys have any questions, have them check out this video. This will help everybody quite a bit. Now I'm gonna lay some tabs over the top of each other and just show you guys a little bit of the difference as far as camber is concerned. We won't go super different, but okay, so all these tabs are exactly the same shape, right? And again, it just depends on if the tabs are on the long side or the short side of the tab. So the physical tab never moves within the arm. The hole moves within the tab. So this right here is our 3 tab. Okay, it's got the 6 little notches down the side of it. This right here is our 5 tab, the 1 single notch. So now you can see that the hole placement is different. The closer this hole is to the center of the tab is obviously 0. The further it moves towards the point, it's getting longer. Okay, it's making your arm, it's giving you positive camber. It's pushing it away from the center line of the car. So for every millimeter of movement in the rear upper control arms, okay, so each arm and even each platform changes a little bit differently. This is specifically for the LXLC stuff, but in the upper control arms themselves, for each millimeter of movement, it's gonna move about 0.24 of a degree in camber. Okay, so this one right here, this is a 3 tab. If you had this installed in your car and you were at -1 degree, okay, and you went to this +5 tab, okay, it would move you to about a 1/2 degree positive, or excuse me, a 1/2 degree negative. It's gonna move you a 1/2 degree more towards positive. So for every millimeter of movement, like I said, about 0.24. Now, if we jumped from a 3 tab to a 4 tab, which would have 8 little notches on it, that would move you, you know, about 0.74, about 0.74 to 0.76 degrees negative. So just remember, each millimeter of movement moves you about 0.24 of a degree. Most kits, when they leave our building here, the arms are installed with 2s. Okay, that's just our standard baseline is with a +2 tab. Okay, so that's gonna be approximately 2 millimeters longer than a stock arm. In those kits, we also include 4s and 6s. Depending on which package you buy, like our drag packs will come with 8s as well. But it just depends. We give you a variety of tabs to be able to get you pretty close. Now, that's not what you're limited to. If you're really trying to dial in alignment, we have other options available. But without knowing a baseline number, we can't include those in the kit, so it would be like an after. If you could get to an alignment rack, shoot it and say, hey, this is the number I'm going for, we can set you up with the right tabs if you don't have them. These are our toe link tabs. Okay, in our toe link tabs, we have more. This is just a couple that I grabbed to show you guys. Our toe link tabs are they're exactly the same tabs, so you could use these in upper control arms, you could use upper control arm 1 in a toe link. The toe links specifically move in much smaller increments. So these tabs were designed to move in 1/2 millimeter increments. So as you can see here, this has 1 little notch on it. This is a 1/2 millimeter shorter than a 0 tab. Okay, so, and then here we have a 1.5 millimeter longer than a 0 tab. Okay, so in reference to toe, back here, you can see if we were to make this arm longer, right? If we were to put this tab in here and make this arm longer, this is a 0 tab. It's gonna effectively push the back of the knuckle out, okay? And it's gonna push the front of the tire in, giving you toe in. So depending on where you're at, you wanna set your camber first. You wanna get a happy medium to your camber before you start changing your toe. If you set your toe and then change your camber, it's gonna change your toe. Usually I recommend everybody in most alignment shops and most guys that have been around for a long time know to set your camber before you set your toe. Now, if you're making big, huge camber adjustments and then going back and making toe adjustments and trying to correct for it, you know, very minimally change your camber, but it's not going to affect it nearly as much as if you adjusted the toe before the camber. I hope this answered a lot of your guys' questions today. And, you know, the practice for changing the toe links is the same as changing the upper control arms. These are on-car adjustable as well, so you can get to it when it's on the alignment rack and you can adjust them without having to take any tires off or anything like that. As far as changing our rear upper control arms, they're very easy, especially since we changed to the one tab design. You can do them, you know, if you're a drag guy and you're changing out to your 17s or your 15s for, you know, a race this weekend, when you change your tires, change your tabs. The beautiful part about buying our entire drag pack, so our drag pack consists of our adjustable upper control arms, lower trailing arms with Spiroflex, and our rear toe links. Okay, I tell all the drag guys this. The beautiful part about buying the complete package is you can go to an alignment shop and you can say, hey, set the car up for street driving. They'll give you a street alignment. So, you know, you can be negative 0.8 on your toe and you can have just a little bit of toe in the rear of the car. Okay, that's going to give you a nice drivability for driving down the highway or, you know, your commute to work. Then they can pull those tabs out, and once we have that data from that alignment, we can help you set up a race alignment as well. So now we're going to say, okay, we're going to go to 0.2, 0.3, 0.5 positive camber, okay? And then we're going to go with a little bit of toe out in the back of the car or zero toe for your race alignment, okay? Now you can take these tabs out of the arms and put them in a baggie. Now you can put your street tabs in. Now you don't have to worry about the car, you know, driving funny down the street with your race alignment in it. And you can go out to Sunday dinner and not have to worry about it. And when it's time to go to the track again, you pull your wheels off, swap your wheels, you put your tabs back in for your race alignment and you're ready to go. That's the beautiful part about our system is that it is repeatable every time. So you know that when you're putting those tabs back in those same locations that they were, that the alignment is set where it was prior to. So like I said, I hope this was a little bit helpful for all you guys. You know, we get a lot of questions on how to adjust this stuff and what everything does and how the tabs work and all that stuff. And, you know, if you still have questions, please reach out to us and ask us. But my hope is that this video would, you know, better prepare you guys for when you guys are making adjustments to your AAD products. Thank you.